I'm Dawn Hill, host of Heart, Mind, and Purpose, a podcast where we explore what it means to live an aligned and wholehearted life. I am a professional counselor with over 25 years of experience and a deep love for meaningful conversation. I bring you honest reflections, soulful questions, and meaningful tools for managing life. Whether you're seeking clarity, connection, or simply a space to breathe, this podcast is here for you. Tune in weekly and join me on the journey.
Welcome to Heart, Mind, and Purpose, the podcast where we explore how our lives shape the way we love, connect, and grow. Hi, this is Paul Gramercy, producer of today's episode, where Dawn touches on something many of us feel but don't always have words for: the quiet, often frustrating experience of feeling stuck. Or wondering why life feels off even when things look okay on the outside. This conversation is for you. Today, Dawn explores what it really means to feel stuck, why it happens, and how we begin to gently move forward again with clarity, compassion, and faith. This episode is called When Life Feels Stuck. Now here's your host, Dawn Hill.
Welcome back to Heart, Mind, and Purpose. I'm really glad you're here today because we're going to step into something that so many people feel but don't always know how to name. That quiet sense of being stuck. Maybe life looks okay on the outside. You're functioning, you're showing up, but internally something feels off. You might feel like you're going through the motions, you're moving but not really moving forward. And if you've ever wondered, why do I feel this way? Or even, is something wrong with me? I want to say this right from the beginning: nothing is wrong with you. In fact, that feeling of being stuck may be one of the most important signals your life is giving you. So today we're going to talk about what it really means to feel stuck, why it happens, what is going on emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually, and how we begin to move forward again, gently, intentionally, and with grace. And we're going to do this not just from a psychological lens, but also through a faith perspective as well. Because you are not just a mind and a body, you are also a soul. So let's settle in together. Feeling stuck is more common than people realize. It can look like lack of motivation, indecision, emotional exhaustion, or even just a quiet sense of, is this all there is? Sometimes it shows up as burnout, sometimes as anxiety, and sometimes as numbness. And often it is not just one thing, it's a mix of things like life transitions, unmet expectations, internal pressures, and external demands. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to do more, to be more, to achieve more, but rarely does it teach us how to rest, reflect, or recalibrate. And so what happens? We keep going, even when something inside of us is asking us to pause. When you're stuck, it's not just a thought, it's an emotional experience too. You might feel frustrated, overwhelmed, anxious, discouraged, or even guilty for feeling this way. And here's something that's important. Those emotions are not random. They are signals. Frustration often says something needs to change. Anxiety is often saying, I don't feel safe or certain. And sometimes that deeper heaviness says, I've lost connection with myself, with others, or with God. Because at the core, feeling stuck is often about disconnection. And this is where faith gently comes in. There is a verse that says, be still and know that I am God, Psalms 46:10. But most of us don't experience stillness as peaceful. We experience it as uncomfortable, because stillness reveals what movement hides. But what if being still isn't failure? What if it's an invitation? There are many reasons we feel stuck. Some are external, like job dissatisfaction, or a relationship strain, or life transitions. And some are internal, fear of failure, perfectionism, negative self-talk, or beliefs like, I'm not enough. And sometimes we've simply outgrown where we're at. The life that once fit you doesn't fit you anymore, and that doesn't mean you've failed, it means you've grown. One of the most overlooked reasons people feel stuck is this: they've lost their rhythm. We overfunction, we overproduce, and we overthink. but we do not rest. We do not reflect, and we do not create space for integration. And here's something that both psychology and faith agree on. Growth doesn't only happen in movement, it also happens in stillness. Even in nature, there are seasons. Planting seasons, growing seasons, harvesting and resting seasons. But we expect ourselves to always be in a growth mode. And when we're not, we think something is wrong. So let me give you this simple image. Think of yourself as a bus. You are the driver, but inside the bus there are passengers. Those passengers are your thoughts, emotions, fears, and memories. And some of them are kind and encouraging, and some of them are loud and critical and fearful. Now here's what many people try to do. They try to get rid of the difficult passengers, but that doesn't work because they are part of being human. Instead, we need to learn to stay in the driver's seat and to say, I hear you, but you're not driving. From a faith perspective, we are not driving alone. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with your whole heart, and he will make your path straight, not perfect, but guided. And this is where mindfulness and faith actually come together quite beautifully. Mindfulness teaches us to slow down, to notice, and observe without judgment. And faith invites us to trust, surrender, and remain connected. Guided meditation, breath work, and stillness practices help regulate the nervous system. They can reduce anxiety, increase clarity, and restore emotional balance. And when paired with prayer or spiritual reflection, they don't just calm the mind, they reconnect the soul. So how do we begin to move forward? Not with pressure, but with small intentional steps. Here are a few steps. Step 1, take one small step. Not a whole plan, just the next step. 2, reconnect with your values by asking yourself, what actually matters to me right now? 3, notice the small shifts. Growth is often quiet. 4, build support. You were never meant to do this alone. And 5, be compassionate with yourself. You are a human, not a machine. Sometimes we think movement has to be big to matter, but Scripture reminds us, do not despise small things. Small steps count. Quiet seasons count. Even feeling stuck counts, because it may be the very place where God is doing unseen work. If you are in a season where you feel stuck, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not behind, you are not broken, and you are not alone. This may be a stuck season, this may be a rooting season, a slowing down, a recentering, a quiet rebuilding, and sometimes that is exactly where new life begins. So let's take a moment together, and if you can, close your eyes, not if you're driving, and we're going to just get into a comfortable position. And I want you to take a slow breath in through your nose and a slow breath out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your shoulders soften. Let your body settle. Now gently bring to mind this question. Where in my life do I feel stuck right now? Don't analyze it, just notice it. Now ask yourself what this feeling might be trying to tell you. No pressure, just listen. Let's take another slow breath in through our nose and exhale slowly out of our mouth. And now you might feel a slight shift. Asking yourself, what one small step could I take, not to fix everything, but to move gently forward? Just one small step. Let that be enough. And now, a quiet reminder, you are not alone in this moment. God is with you even here, even in the uncertainty. even in the waiting. Let's take one more deep breath in through our nose and exhale slowly out of our mouth. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. I want to thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this episode resonated with you, I'd encourage you to sit with it a little longer. Maybe journal about what you thought. Maybe take a quiet walk. Or maybe just pause and breathe. And as always, take what is helpful and hold it gently. Until next time, may you be kind to your heart, clear in your mind, and grounded in your purpose. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Heart, Mind, and Purpose. If this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who might need this reminder. You're not alone in seasons like this. If you found this conversation helpful, we'd love for you to share it with someone who could use some encouragement. You can also find resources, listener handouts, and more at dawnmariehill.com/heart. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode as we keep exploring how the heart, the mind, and our sense of purpose all work together for a life well lived. If you have questions or comments, please contact Dawn at heartmindandpurpose.podcast@gmail.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.